So how are we affording daycare? Like, I just don't get it.
How much are you all paying for daycare? I've got 2 kids.
I am so tired of living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living.
So I just had a baby 3 weeks ago, and I knew that the cost of having a child in United States is absolutely outrageous, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. Today I got my hospital bill in mail, so let's break it down. But just to give you a quick introduction, I did end up having a C-section that wasn't planned, but it wasn't also an emergency. During my 37th appointment, my fluid was low and the baby was breached, so the doctors have decided that the safest way to deliver the baby is via C-section. Well, after the C-section, the baby was in the NICU for 4 days, so let's break down all the costs. Some of the things that are listed here, I have absolutely no clue what they are, so I have to trust that they actually put the things that they did in the hospital. $196.18 for electric breast pumps, which they did lend me those in the hospital so I can pump for the baby when he was in the NICU. Disposable collection and ST, no clue, $78. Culture screen only, $184.03. OB US limited fetus, $482. OB US 14 weeks single fetus, $411. Now is where the fun begins. Cesarean delivery, $8,947. Extraction of products O, which I don't know if that's extracting the baby or what is that, $43,599. X-ray exam chest for the baby, $176. Whole bunch of charges that I think are baby's labs, $194.97. This I think is only one of the 4 days of baby stay in the NICU. $4,666. The most expensive hotel in United States. His hearing test that came out to be $1,853. Twice did they charge me for each ear. And lastly on this bill, assistance with respiratory ventilator that the baby had to be on, $30,184. That was only the hospital bill, and then on top of that we also got the doctor's bill for the doctors that took care of him in the NICU. That came out to be $20,123. All of that combined comes to the grand total of $125,641.69. Of course, I do have insurance that covers majority of it, but those prices are out of this world.
A hearing test, charged twice. A ventilator, $30,000. A bill that adds up to more than most people make in 2 years, just for bringing a baby into the world. This isn't a headline. This is one American reading her own bill out loud. This show is just that, us sitting down with what other Americans are actually going through. No filter, no script for them. Just the real numbers and the real weight of carrying them. If any part of this sounds like your own life, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hit subscribe right now if you want to keep hearing these stories, because this is just the first one, and there's more coming that hits just as close. Let's stay right here for a second, because having a kid in this country doesn't stop costing you the day you leave the hospital. It just changes shape.
So how are we affording daycare? Like, I just don't get it, because we recently had to start looking for another daycare because our daycare was like, we're going to change our hours. We're now going to close at 4:30. And we're like, what? We don't get out until 5. So we have to look for another daycare. How are we affording it? Are we selling livers? Are we selling kidneys? What's the plan? Because this is ridiculous, you guys. So we have 2 toddlers and we also have a 5-year-old. He's my stepson, so we don't have to take him to daycare 5 days a week, like the entire month full time. You know, we have him every other week. So check this out. The first daycare was like, okay, we can charge you for your 2-year-old $300 a week. That's $1,200 a month for one kid. And with my 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, which I said he wouldn't go full time, It comes out to $3,400 a month, you guys. And they still want to charge me for the weeks that my 5-year-old doesn't go because we're saving his spot. So I'm like, there's no freaking way, right? Also, another daycare. This one was a little bit more affordable, but it was like, we can only take them 3 days out of the week, right? It was going to be $1,730. And this was having to pay as well for the weeks that we don't have the 5-year-old, which is crazy because it's like, we're just giving you free money. He's not going to daycare. You're not watching him. So why are we having to pay, right? So this was another daycare here. So this was a different daycare that I went, and they were like, okay, we can charge you for your daughter $220 a week, not even a month, right? A week. And then for the other 2 boys, in a month period, it would be $780. So everything combined is $2,440. That is a mortgage payment, you guys. That is way more than a mortgage payment. That's just including daycare. And keep in mind that my kids don't need to go 5 days a week. We only need 3 days a week, maybe sometimes 4. And we're just like, what's the deal? Like, don't call me Dulce anymore. Call me Candy on the weekends, because there's no way people are just going to work to pay for daycare. Like, how is that even possible? Is it even worth having 2 parents work when you're having to pay so much in daycare? I just can't wrap my mind around this. Crazy to me. I don't know how people are affording daycare, especially when you have multiple children. Like, we need to work in order to be able to provide for a family. But then it's like, the more you work, the more daycare you need, where it's like you need to pay more. So I don't know that it's even worth 2 parents working nowadays. This is ridiculous, you guys. This is scary.
How much are you all paying for daycare? I've got 2 kids, okay? I am paying $2,675, and that is with a sibling discount. My daughter, who just moved up from the infant room, when she was in the infant room, her tuition was $1,764 a month. $1,700. How can anybody afford daycare? My son, he's 4, so he's in pre-K right now. His tuition is $1,161 a month. Can he be in kindergarten yet? Can I enroll him? I have 1 more year. Drop in the comments how much you guys are paying for daycare.
Daycare numbers that come out higher than a mortgage for kids who aren't even there 5 days a week. Be honest, if you've got kids, did your daycare bill ever make you do a double take like that? Drop it in the comments. I want to see the actual numbers people are dealing with. Now let's zoom out. Because this isn't just about kids, it's the whole math of staying afloat at any age.
At this point, I seriously think Gen Z is just screwed. In 2026, Gen Z just simply earns way less than it costs to survive. The average Gen Zer makes about $25K a year, which is around $21,000 a month, and spends basically all of it on bills or rent. Nearly half of Gen Z runs out of money before the end of the month ends, and that's not just budgeting, that's just survival at that point. And don't get me started on student loan debt, because the average Gen Zer also has about $30K of student loan debt on top of all of that. We are spending more on essentials than any other previous generation, and wages just keep going down, and the cost of living just keeps going up. You're not failing in life. The system is just completely fucked us over. Budgeting does help, don't get me wrong. I still use mine to budget and track all of my expenses, but the system is still failing us.
Living in America in 2026 literally feels like the biggest scam. Millions of Americans wake up at the crack of dawn every morning, rush to their 9-to-5s that don't even pay us a livable wage. Taxes are a scam. Bank accounts are a scam. It feels like we're just all out here running in circles, running around like chickens, yet we keep getting further and further behind. Once you feel like you finally have gotten ahead and have been able to save a few $100s after paying all your bills, you just come to find out that there's another past due bill that needs to be paid. Once you take 1 step forward, it feels like you take 1,000 steps back. People call it adulthood, people call it life. As you age, as you get older, it feels like that hamster wheel to nowhere just keeps moving faster and faster and faster. And the best part is, when you're all out of hope, people always tell you to hang on, it only gets worse. Whether you work 1 job, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, or 0 jobs, it feels like we're all on the same sinking ship, getting nothing out of it. It's literally starting to feel like the new American dream is to leave. Like, we're so cooked beyond repair at this point, like it's not even funny. There's no middle class anymore. If you're in America, it's either a thing where you're rich or you're poor. If I knew back when I had money in savings that it was going to get this bad over here, I honestly would have left the country. If you want to have any type of a quality of life anymore, it literally feels like you either have to learn how to be completely self-sufficient, grow your own food, bring back mutual aid, go off the grid, or just move to a different country. Because their goal right now is to make Americans' lives a living hell, a living nightmare, if you will, and they're doing a beautiful job at it. It's like, look around you. Look at how things are just like rapidly getting worse every single day. It's absolutely inhumane to work 24/7 and have absolutely nothing to show for it. Absolutely no type of quality of life, to have mental health issues, to be depressed, to be anxious. This isn't how life was supposed to be.
Wages that don't cover survival, on top of debt that never seems to shrink. A wheel that keeps speeding up the longer you stay on it. And a line that used to have a middle, now split into just 2 sides. Does that middle ground even feel real to you anymore? Or does it feel like it's one or the other now? Let me know where you land. If this is resonating, that's exactly why this show exists. So hit subscribe now, because the next part gets even more personal. This next stretch puts real faces on it. People working every hour they're given and still coming up short.
I need to know who the is in charge. Who I need to talk to. Because listen, when I tell y'all, I've been looking for a new job because I'm sick and tired of the job that I'm at. And I really don't care. Honestly, I don't care. These jobs do not pay enough for what the they be wanting you to do. And honestly, it's like, are y'all employers, are y'all paying attention to the cost of living out here? Are you paying attention to the fact that these groceries everything has gone up, but our pay? I'm sick of going to work I'm sick of going to work and I can barely pay my bills at the end of the month. These jobs, like, they be wanting you to bust your ass, go above and beyond, be there 6 days a week, from 8 to 5, missing doctor's appointments, can't do shit with your motherfucking life but work for crumbs. And I'm sick of it. We got kids out here, we got life out here, life in. This shit is just not adding up, and y'all wonder why motherfuckers is scamming, getting in the streets, selling, doing what the they need to do to make ends meet. Y'all wonder why. Like, y'all wonder, this shit is not realistic out here, and I'm really sick of it. Like, I want to buy a house. I want to do all of that shit. But goddamn, I can't even save $1 because shit is so fucking expensive out here. These jobs don't want to give no raises, and the new jobs ain't paying shit. Entry-level positions starting at $16 an hour for motherfuckers with a bachelor's degree.
Okay, but tell me why I'm working overtime and I'm still fucking broke. And now, don't get me wrong, I make good money. I make over $25 an hour. But I do have 3 kids and a wife, and let me tell you, leading a family is financially stressful. I work all the overtime I'm allowed to get. Anytime I can get any overtime, I always work it. But no matter how much overtime I work, it doesn't seem like this paycheck to paycheck thing will ever end. And that's just something that I deal with and I kind of internalize and I don't talk about. But I can't be the only one that feels this way, right? I mean, surely there are other people out there who are tired of just getting by, man. Like, when I was in high school just 10 years ago, like, $10 or $12 an hour was really good money. And I remember thinking, if I could just get out and make $15 an hour, I'm set. I'll have a good savings. I'll be able to afford a house, a car. I'm 29 years old. And though some of it is, actually, I would say a lot of it is because of some of the decisions I made in my teenage years and early adulthood. A lot of why I don't have a house is because of the economy and how shit is just expensive. Like, I don't know. It's disgusting, to be honest. Like, just to live and not have any money to do anything with. If you agree, let me know in the comments. But what are we doing about it? That's another thing. You know, instead of complaining about it, what are we doing about it? Let me know some side hustles. I've tried a whole lot of stuff, but mostly this TikTok right here, if you watch to this point, You're helping me get to that goal, so I appreciate it.
A father working every overtime shift available and still stuck on the same cycle. Someone fed up with entry-level pay that doesn't match the cost of just existing. How many of you are working extra just to stay in place, not even get ahead? Say so below. And to close this one out, one city and one career that's supposed to be the definition of doing everything right.
Miami's a shithole right now. It's a shithole. And if you're a local, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Even if you want to pretend that Miami's great and oh, it's the best city, because I know a lot of you locals like to pretend that, but you see it. You see it when you're driving. You drive by houses, small little houses that have 5, 6, 7, 8 cars parked outside, because that's how many people are living there. Maybe even more, because some of them don't have cars. More people are living there than the number of cars that you see. You know that the shit is getting really stinky here. I have a colleague who's in her 50s. She works full time, 6 days a week. Her rent went up 30% in 1 year. She could not absorb that cost, so she had to move. And now, and she found like a little efficiency. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a converted tool shed that she's living in a converted tool shed in the back of someone's property for super cheap. It's like a little tiny studio, tiny, like a bed and some shelves. That's what she's got now. A woman in her 50s who works 6 days a week full time and has done so for decades. But she can't afford to fucking live, and now she found out she has cancer. And we work in an industry where there's no PTO. There's no PTO. My rent went up in 1 year 25%, and there's no way that I could absorb that cost. So I had to move from the apartments that I was living in close to the coast to move in with family so that I could just survive. And at that time, I was working 7 days a week, making well into the 6 figures. This was almost 3 years ago. I was making well into the 6 figures and I had to move back in with family. That's the situation that we're living in right now. The only way that people can survive in Miami is either they have a ton of money, or if they're actually like working for a living, then they have to shack up with multiple roommates, not just one, multiple roommates, or they have to shack in with family. And the ones that don't have that fall off the fucking grid, i.e. they become homeless, or they have to just leave the state and go find somewhere where they can live.
I am so tired of living my life in survival mode because despite having 2 college degrees and making close to $80,000 a year, I still cannot keep up with the cost of living. I still cannot afford all of my bills every month and have to live paycheck to paycheck. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I am sacrificing my mental health, my time, and my energy to take care of people in their most vulnerable moments. And a lot of the time, they do not make it. At the very least, I should be able to pay my bills. And for anyone who's thinking, oh, well, you shouldn't have chose that job. Somebody has to do it. And you know damn well, if your loved one was critically ill, you would want somebody to take care of them, right? Something has to give. I cannot keep doing this.
A rent hike that pushed a decades-long full-time worker into a converted shed. And someone 2 degrees deep, making solid money, still living paycheck to paycheck while taking care of other people on their worst days. If people doing everything right still can't get ahead, the problem was never the people. Do you feel that too? Or am I the only one seeing it this way? If any part of this sounded like your own bank account, that's exactly why we do this show. Hit subscribe. We sit down with a new set of these stories every week. And in the comments, tell me the one bill that quietly wrecked your month. I read every single one. And honestly, half the reason I keep making these is because of what you all write back.